Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with our media availabilities today. We are joined by Stewart-Haas Racing driver Riley Herbst, driver of the number 98 Monster Energy Ford. Riley, we last saw you in the winner's press conference in Indianapolis. Had a nice break. How was your break? Can you tell us a little bit about that? And then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, it was good. Is this on?
Yep.
Yeah. It was fun. We went down to the south of France, so got to experience that country over there, all the beautiful beaches and all the cool weather and everything that place has to offer. So that was a lot of fun. Got to participate last week in the Richmond race, which was cool, in the Cup car. And now back in the really fast 98 car, and excited for Michigan and excited to finish out the year strong and hopefully go chase the championship.
Sounds good. We'll go ahead and open up the questions. Go ahead and raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. Please state your name and affiliation. We'll go ahead and start back here.
Yeah, Steve Post, MRN. This is the same rules package you had from Indianapolis. What's your expectations of what you're going to see at Michigan? Similarities, and what do you think might be different about it here?
I don't really know. I'm excited to get on track. Hopefully, if the rain holds away, to practice a little bit. I'm excited because obviously both the Stewart-Haas racing cars had speed at Indy, so hopefully we can translate some of that speed into this track. Obviously, I feel like it's might get a little bit strung out. Might need some drafting help to get up to the guy next to you, and I think it's going to be a little bit like Atlanta as well, where if you take a run that you can't complete the pass, I think you're going to go back to the back of the line. Which a lot of people experienced at Atlanta. So it's going to be interesting. It could also be nothing like that, and it could be like the old Michigan and just single file, and if the better car's better, it'll pass. So I'm very curious, but we'll see how it is here in about an hour or so.
All right. Any more questions? Right up here front to Bob, and then over to Lee.
Bob Parkhurst, Fox Sports. If you do have to race on like a green track, if it rains between now and the start, just is there any more of a challenge to that, and especially if they, Tom, like possibly even a competition caution during that short first stage?
Yeah, I don't really know why you would talk about the comp caution. I feel like they are going to do one if we don't practice today, but it's 30 laps. I think we'll be okay on that aspect. I think the biggest thing is just going to be the corner speeds and firing off on a green racetrack with the traction compound I think they applied. So a lot of unknowns, but I don't think it's anything that us drivers are very incapable of doing for the first few laps. So I think we'll be fine there. But, yeah, just looking forward to it.
Go over here to Lee.
Lee Spencer, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio and CatchFence.com. How has your tenure at SHR prepared you for the next step you take in NASCAR?
I think it's done a lot. Obviously, I don't know what that next step is, so hopefully we can get that figured out here shortly. But Stewart-Haas Racing, like I've said multiple times to multiple people, picked me up when I got pushed out the door. So I owe a lot to Greg Zipadelli and obviously Tony Stewart and everybody over there for not only like helping me become who I am as a person, but as a race car driver as well. And I feel like I've just grown so much as everything, and I'm at the top of my game where I've been. So it's cool to say that. It's cool to be where I am right now as a race car driver, coming off winning at one of the most historic tracks in the world, and have all the momentum in the world to take the speed and my team to Phoenix and compete for a championship.
You feel like they nurtured you? I mean, at a time when you kind of needed that boost, that next step?
I mean, yeah, back when I left in 2020, I was a very, young green kid who didn't know much, and everybody over there took me under their wing, Kevin Harvick, Zippy, and they kind of nurtured me, you could say, in an aspect, and kind of saw something in me and developed me and didn't really give up on me, especially after the really rough first year. And now we've won a couple times, and now we're competitive each week, and we have a chance to do the ultimate goal, and that's to win the championship, and I feel like we can accomplish that if we're at our best. Thanks.
All right, we'll come over to Jordan, then back to Steve. Go ahead, Jordan.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. Along those lines, when I talked to Tony several years ago when he signed you and brought you on. He was very complimentary and said that you had, there was a lot of talent there. What is that process? Have you worked with him along the way? And you said, Kevin took you under his wing and this thing. What does that entail for a driver like you who had experience but then continued on?
Yeah, I mean, to be quite frank with you, I never really saw Tony much. So it was more about Kevin and Eric Almirola and even Cole Custer, all those guys helping me. I would talk to Tony a little bit on the phone, but it was more with meetings about Zipadelli and Kevin and telling me how to grow as a race car driver and how to become a better race car driver. So without them, I don't think I would be where I am today by any means.
Back here to Steve and then up to Chris.
Riley, big picture Stewart-Haas Racing. A month and a half ago, we were wondering when you guys were going to win races, and here you are riding a 2-race win streak into the break. Is it just a continued evolution of how the team has performed, and then where do you need to work on here as we get closer and closer to the playoffs, as you and Cole both hone yourselves into playoff mode?
I think the biggest thing is just the hard work that the guys have been doing at the shop when we weren't winning. Obviously, from Cole's point of view, he's the defending champion of the series and didn't really have the best start to the year. Obviously, the points leader by just being consistent, but the speed that we both were showing in the end of the last year wasn't really there at the beginning of this year. So they just kind of had to go to work and develop the race car better. Obviously, with the rear window slits, that kind of threw us for a loop there for the first few weeks. And I feel like we're on top of our game, and I wouldn't be surprised if me or Cole won, or even Noah won this weekend, because all those cars are pretty similar. So I'd say our weakness right now is probably our road course program. It's not where we need to be by any means, and we obviously have the Glen in a few weeks and the Rollville in the first round. So hopefully we can find a little bit more pace there, but I feel like everywhere else we'll have a shot to win and we can lead laps.
Okay, come up here to Chris.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Hi, Riley. Picking back off of Steve's question, how do you feel about the playoffs, and do you feel like that you can be a championship contender come November?
I think so. Obviously, I've never made it out of the first round, so that's our first goal. But to win the championship, you have to qualify, and I didn't qualify last year. So we're locked in now, and we got to make it past the first round, which will be a challenge with Kansas, the Rollville, and Talladega, which are 3 wild card races. And the second round is obviously kind of Stewart-Haas Racing's bread and butter with Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. So I feel like if we can get to the second round, we'll have a really good shot to get to Phoenix. But obviously the first things first is you got to make it out of the first round.
All right, any more questions for Riley?
Cool. Thanks.
All right, thank you for coming in. Good luck this weekend.
All right, there's the checkered flag. Great job, driver.